Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Branding. It's the Global Visibility Initiative special training on getting yourself out there in an authentic way. So you stand out from the crowd. It's about telling your story. Branding is the story of you and the purpose of your business, the story of your products and services and why you do what you do. Why did you come up with the idea? And telling it in a way it gets people going. So let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go right into it. Today, this is episode 4. This is element 4 of the Branding series. It's TEDify and Spin. So what's going on here? What is TEDify and Spin? Well, before I get into it, we're going to be going through quickly the overview because the last 4 elements are all building on top of each other to bring you to this point to tell the story. So the very first one, I'm going to go full screen over here. The Branding gift ship. We started with the gift ship where we decided what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing it, where you're going to be, what is the purpose of it? What do you want to do? Do you have faith? Why it's going to work? And really, like, how much money you're going to be making with it? What is the gift ship? What is the purpose of it? So all that. The gift ship is the very first element. Well, so here's what we decided to make it really easy. The gift shift, it's about how many people you impact and how much money you make. And we're actually on track. The group you're going to be watching us do this in real time in the next few months. You're going to be tracking us. So the gift shift, if we decide we're going to impact 1,000 people, make $100,000, well, how are you going to do that? It's very difficult to take care of 1,000 people at the same time. Well, we're applying the 80-20 rule. That means 80% of the people get free training one way or another, and you'll be getting it out there in a strategic way, putting it in front of the right groups so the impact is huge and you're able to monetize it, but and track it by the number of people who register. So that means that 200 people you have to focus on to make that money. So there are some choices. I'm not going to go back into all of it. So the next element is story mining and genre. Well, this is where you actually start digging into the different stories and all the amazing things about you from when you were a kid all the way up to now. Why do you do the things you do? And I gave you some examples of, working in a factory and setting those things up, the quality assurance systems. And you've also been hearing me talk about the camel story. So these are examples that are in your compiler tool, so you need to follow that. So in the story mining, we start with the story, the purpose of the story. The purpose is about you. Why did you experience that? Why do you do that? What is that natural gift? Because it is a natural gift. Our gifts are ours to use and share with others to make other people's lives better. So why does that? Why do you have that gift? What is the purpose of it? And then how can you teach the lessons you learn, so other people get it? How can other people benefit from it? And of course, we looked at the age group, and there's a specific reason for it. So go back and listen to the training on that. And then we looked at the genre, whether it's the phoenix, the hero, or the visionary. So I'm going to go back into over the shoulder shot over here. And so those are the first 2 genres, story, gift shift and the story mining. Well, the story mining, the easiest way to remember it is remember your Branding GPS, your gift, purpose, and story. So it's that, what's my GPS? What's my gift? What's the purpose of it? And what's the story behind it? So that's an easy way for you to remember. Every time you're going to be doing a presentation, you're going to be doing an interview, just say, what's the GPS? What's the gift I'm focusing on? What's the purpose of it? and what is the story, which one of the stories do I want to use for this particular gift, because you're going to have many stories that are going to go with that particular gift, because it's something that goes with us our entire life. So then last week we went into genre and plot. When this is where we started categorizing, putting the story together. So basically, once you put the name of your story together, then you start looking into the characters in that story. Well, you're the main character, but who else was involved in creating whether it's the trauma or the solution? There were other people involved who created that with you, who created that story. Start describing who they are. And again, you have the compiler tool to make it easy for you to be able to do that. Then next, the setting. Where was that? Was it outdoors? Was it indoors? Describe, what was it? So you start describing, and are you getting the feeling that you're kind of in a movie scene or in a TV show scene? Yeah, exactly. Because if you follow this formula, you're going to be able to, create stories that could be your book. It could be a play. It could be games you start creating depending on what you're teaching. But of course, the core of it is your docu-branding story. So you get to create your scenarios, your story in a way that really impacts people, because they get to be there with you. They get to experience you. So then once we go into the setting, and of course the supporting tools, what is it that you need? Well, you have pictures, maybe you have footage. What is it that you have? Start gathering information and tools that you can actually use as you're telling the story. If you're talking about something from your childhood, there are all kinds of photos you can pull out. Or maybe your parents have a video of your first steps, whatever. Just start looking, digging in. The more of you share, the more connected people are going to feel to you, the more they're going to get to know you. And then once we go into the plot, well, there's a lot more. That's when we go into really getting into the mechanics of it. And I started telling you last week, the example I used in the compiler tool was what a camel driver in Egypt taught me about marketing. Now, that's an attention grabber. How many people do you know who've gotten a marketing lesson from a camel driver in Egypt? They said, what? Camel driver Egypt? It's like it stops people in their track. And if I have a picture, the first thing they see, oh, that's me on a camel next to the pyramid. You don't even have to see the whole pyramid, because the picture of the camel will stop. Then you see even a bit of the pyramid. We know what it looks like. Okay, so what do you have that people don't have to see the whole thing to be able to actually understand? A picture, say it's worth 1,000 words. Well, a video is supposed to be, I forget the exact number, but it's some ridiculous number. It's like, I don't know, about 50,000 words or whatever it is. It's a lot more than that. So anyway, so I started telling you about it. I used a camel driver as an example. So you can go in there and see how it's segmented. Now, the overall purpose of that story, which you have to, again, this is going back into, categorizing your story. What's the purpose of it? What is the specific point? Well, the overall purpose of that story was to build credibility of me, because I was there doing business. I happened to be there setting up factories. So I'm talking about me being an international businesswoman, right? So then as I was telling the story, it was, oh, I connect the dots. I simplify things, because that's what the story shows when I follow through. And then the specific point in this one is basically follow all three of the fundamentals of marketing. So the point I was making in there, and you can actually go look at the story in there, the points that are being made. Even though those of you who are new, you haven't heard the whole story, which you're going to get, in the homework below. Okay, you can pick out what it is, because it's already in the columns in the compiler tool with the examples alone. So that's it. We're following the fundamentals of marketing. That's the whole point of this story. A camel driver in Egypt taught me how to market. It's that simple. And how do the fundamentals of marketing fit into it? That's the point, that's the story, and how I tell the story makes it come alive. That's the point of today. TEDifying and spin. So let's take a look at that. Again, we're talking about the characters involved, okay? Characters, the setting, and the plot. That's what makes the story come alive. The plot is the call to action. The bottom, what happened, the frustration, the journey, how did I get the answer, the breakthrough moment, which the camel driver gave me, and of course, the results. So that's the plot. Okay, so your story should be put together to the point that you actually are starting to see it formulate from element 1 all the way up to today's element. Element 4 is TEDifying. So what I'm going to do right now is go into how does TEDx style talks fit into this. So